Hey everybody, welcome back. It's day 3 of our mini micro training connecting to the core. So we're going to progress from what we did last week and continue with a few more exercises that start to bring more of the core into the picture. So last week we talked about the breath and the idea of how the breath and the rib cage movement expanding and contracting and that closure or collecting of the deep abdominals work together. We'll combine that today with 2 new exercises, one that has us moving a little bit more through the spine and another that is a static position or what's called an isometric position. And both of these types of movement patterns, either moving or holding, build strength in different ways. So I love using them both. And sometimes it's easier for you to find or manage your way in one of those types of movements over the other. So hopefully you'll find one or both that works for you today. So you're going to need a pillow, you're going to need your mat, and if you have a yoga block like this one, just a light yoga block, you can also use that. If you don't have a yoga block, you'll be using your pillow instead. All right, so come on down onto your back with that pillow under your head and your knees bent. We're going to begin with the feet hip width apart, as we talked about last week, getting your sense of balance and alignment, even when we're lying down. So the feet should feel that they're not turned out, that they're not turned in, that the leg bones are aligned nice and parallel, and it feels nice and level on the back of your pelvis. The ribs should feel settled on the floor. So if you feel that they're arching, I'd like you to put your hands on your rib cage and just soften them down slightly. Again, using the pillow to elevate your skull and just to provide a little more space for the neck and shoulders. Now for today, hands on the ribs to begin. Take 3 deep breaths in through your nose, expanding your ribs out to the side. Exhaling through the mouth, pursed lips, close the ribs, funneling them down and in. And again, breathe in. Feel the ribs expand. Feel the ribs close. Move your fingers to your frontal hip bones, breathe. Exhale, feel those frontal hip bones move closer together. That idea of cinching or gathering deep inner core set. Good. Now bring your hands behind your head. I'd like you to have your elbows off the floor gently so you can see them. And we're going to combine that breath with a little forward flexion or a mini sit-up. So we'll take a breath to prepare. Exhale, start to curl your head and shoulders off the floor. Think of those ribs closing and the low abdominals gathering in. Inhale to lower. And exhale again. Ribs moving down, low abdominals pulling those frontal hip bones closer together. You might not feel all of those things, so just focus on the breath and smooth movement. Trying not to pull on the head, but simply supporting the head with your hands. So my eyes are going from the ceiling towards my knees. 2 more. Breathing in to lower, breathing out to curl. 1 more time. And come on down. All right, relax for a moment. How'd that go? So the next thing we're going to do is invite a little more connection of the inner thighs. So the adductors or inner thigh muscles help support the low abdominals and the core because they draw up and in towards the pelvis. They attach at the pelvic bowl area and they bring awareness and support right up from the bottom. So for this, I'd like you to put something between your knees. It could be your pillow, it could be your yoga block, or if you happen to have a Pilates ball, a soft ball, that's great. If you're using a yoga block, you've got different widths that you could use it on. So you could use it in the skinny position, or you could use it in that middle position, if that feels better for you. Probably this wide position is going to be too wide. So just find something that you can place in between the legs so that we can squeeze a little bit into it. We're going to perform that same ab curl with the block to give you more feedback and more connection through those deep low abdominals. So let's begin with the hands on the ribs. Take a breath through the nose. Widen them. On the exhale, squeeze the block, ribs funnel down. Inhale, let the ribs expand. Exhale, squeeze the block. Drawing that awareness up and in, right from the bottom of the pelvis, those inner thighs supporting. One more time. Exhale. Ribs funnel down, low core draws in, little squeeze on the block. Good. And then rest for a moment. So I'm going to turn my block. I like it this skinny position. It's a little different, and it allows me to push with more of my whole inner leg instead of just a smaller surface area. So you could change your block or find your pillow in a little bit better place. I'm going to bring the hands behind the head, elbows slightly forward so they're off the floor. Take a deep breath in, prepare. Exhale, curl head and shoulders, squeeze the block, funnel those ribs down towards the pelvis. Inhale to lower, and exhale, come on up. Squeeze the block. Do you feel how having that prop between the legs gives you more activation? You feel stronger. So it's a great tool to use while we're building strength. And it provides also more stability. So less likelihood of your pelvis rocking around. Let's do two more. Exhale to curl. Remember, those ribs are funneling down. Inhale to lower. Careful, we don't just let everything pop back up. Last one. Eyes forward. And then come on down and rest. Okay, let that go. So remove your prop, your block, or your pillow, and come on over onto your side, and then all the way up. We're going to look at one more exercise today that, as I said, keeps the spine in a long position. So it's that neutral alignment or that postural position of just a balanced, lengthened spine, head, shoulders, and hips, and the core or corset activating to hold us steady. It's a plank. A lot of people fear planks. Don't fear the plank. You don't have to do it for a long time, and I've got some variations for you. So if you're using a pillow between the knees, go ahead and find that now. If you are with your yoga block or Pilates ball, place that between the inner thighs. So pick something that you can squeeze like we just did between the inner legs. Then you're going to take your knees back a little bit so you can walk your hands forward and bring your forearms down. So this plank variation is from the forearms and the knees, and it's going to feel less intense than if I had my knees off the floor. Now, what I want you to do is think about that closure of your rib cage, that squeezing of the ball or the block or the pillow, whatever you're using, and that drawing in, up, and back of your abdominals. So we're just going to be here, holding this position and breathing. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale. Think of those two frontal hip bones closing together and the ribs funneling down. Breathe. Exhale, squeeze the prop. Activate those deep core muscles. Hold yourself steady. Inhale again. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale again. Exhale, squeeze. The pubic bone a little bit up towards your navel. One more time. In breath. Exhale, squeeze. Good job. And then bring yourself up to the hands. Remove your prop, your block, your pillow out of the way. Let's open the knees, stretch the arms, let your hips come back. Go ahead and allow your head to come down towards the floor. And once you arrive there, just take a few deep breaths in and out, softly and gently. Here's a lovely place to feel the breath going into your back body, so allow the ribs to open. Your arms and chest to get a gentle stretch, and your low back to softly round. One more. Wonderful. And then come on up. All right. So those little baby ab curls, practice them with or without a prop. I guarantee you'll have more activation when you use something between the inner thighs. So find something that works for you. And then same thing with that plank. If you don't like being on your forearms or on the floor, you could do this with your hands on a countertop and your legs behind you. So you're kind of on a long diagonal. So you could always start or against a wall, just on a long diagonal line. Think about that knitting rib cage, gathering abdominal wall, and just hold that isometric position, breathing. It's obviously less challenging in that position than when we come to the floor. The floor, start with your forearms and knees. That's a nice place that we can progress from. So 5 to 10 breaths, practice it a couple of times until I see you next time. All right? Good job, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon. Take good care.